This is another one of our Tea Party Guide to Washington videos, but it's not going to have a lot of political significance, except that you will get to see some people running and biking right before their lunch hour on midday, which is something that a lot of people in government and lobbying firms, not all of them, and even law firms can afford to do, because they're all single or double income with no kids, and they're living on your tax dollars. But there aren't that many of them out today. This is the running path, which bikes also use, and I'm going to use it, along the C&O Canal. And down below us, on asphalt, is the bike path, which I used to get here. And then there's some woods. And then on the other side of the woods, it's not very far away, is the Potomac. So this is the C&O Canal, which basically runs parallel to the Potomac. Sort of separates the Potomac from Foxhall and Glover Park and Burleith. And Georgetown, although a little piece of Georgetown is on either side of the C&O Canal, because the C&O Canal actually pierces Georgetown. It's called the C&O Canal because it stands for Chesapeake and Ohio, because it's the way that grain and ore was brought from West Virginia and Ohio and Virginia all the way to the Chesapeake area of DC and Maryland and Virginia, where on the Chesapeake, powered by the flow of water, there were mills. And so in Georgetown, there are actually still condos called things like paper mill and flour mill and paper mill court. You can see the traffic that's eventually becomes M Street. Here it's called Canal Road. It goes into Georgetown. You can hear a helicopter. Downtown DC sirens are pretty much ubiquitous, and anywhere else in DC, and also downtown DC, helicopters carrying the federales around are pretty much ubiquitous. Potentially this could be a very funny tape. You may either get to see me break a bone or me destroy an $800 iPad 3. Well, I'll probably opt for dropping my bike in the water and breaking a bone, because we are filming while biking. One-handed bike driving with the iPad in one hand, which is actually a little bit difficult. And we're going to do this for about 10 minutes going out of DC, and then maybe for another 10 minutes coming in, and we might not see anything. So this may be like a cyber vacation tape. You can either stop it right now, you can turn off the sound and project it on your big screen TV if you're somewhere where it's snowing or you're bored and can't get out to see any nature. It is a semi-sunny day. There is a little possibility we'll see a boathouse or a homeless person or a bicyclist who's had a heart attack or a hiker who fell down and needs help. There could be excitement. Sometimes there's a snapping turtle or a duck. I can't actually promise you there are any structures. Way off in the distance I see a bunch of people who are kind of running in line. I don't know if they're running club, and I can't yet tell if they're coming toward us or going away. But if you're in DC and you need to go for a hike, or you need to bicycle, I don't really know where you rent bikes in DC. I had to borrow one from me or from a friend. This is a good place to go. You just go down to around 30th and K, 33rd and K, something like that, northwest, and you can find the beginnings of the C&O Canal, in particular this more rural part. So the runners are definitely coming towards me. I hope they're not asses. If I get on the one side near the water, I'll get on the other side away from the water so that I can keep doing this. We're at the 4-minute mark, which means we're almost halfway there. I tend to make all these tapes 10 minutes unless there's some reason not to. They may think this is really funny, and of course it kind of is. I will not comment on any of the runners, even if I have thoughts about them. Since they didn't have to be in the tape, but it's really too hard to keep them out of it when they're running straight at you. Beard had some gray in it. See that we're at the 8.5 mile mark. I think the actual terminus in Georgetown is like 11 or 12 miles, something like that. So there's apparently 8 miles of this to go. I may be doing it, but I can tell you it won't be in this tape because I don't think in the next 4.5 minutes I can cover 8 miles. What would that be? A mile would be 60 miles. So if I could do 8 miles in 4 minutes, I'd be going at 120 miles an hour. Yeah. Normally I only bike at about 110 miles an hour, so that will be happening. I see a bridge up ahead. And that looks actually kind of like a rattlesnake, although it's just a stick. I don't think they're really rattlers here, but there are actually snapping turtles in this water. I've seen them. Of course, I think there's snapping turtles in freshwater anywhere in the southeast U.S. I don't know that, but that's my theory. I know they're in Tennessee and Virginia, so I assume they're here too. Anyway, you can see a little park below. I think that's where the boathouse is. Which means the Potomac is really visually... If it were winter, we could see it right now, but because there's just enough leaves on the tree, you can't. This is probably actually smoother and less bumpy than my normal videos, which tend to consist of me walking, and you get a real kind of dinosaur effect as I bounce around. In fact, to go down this hill because there's broken asphalt. Well, there's the boathouse, or one of them. Anyway, so curious, there's actually a parking lot down here. I guess that's where people park to boat. I wonder if people come down here and disport themselves, which in any park in an urban area, I can tell you from arrest reports and police in newspapers alone, does happen. There are a bunch of people all in red. Some kind of class. I think they're adults, so I can't tell at this distance. So maybe those are kids. Maybe. Looks like there are people getting out fishing lines too. So I guess people come down here and fish. I'm going to see if I can bike over a little closer to the water. That's the Potomac River, and on the other side that's Virginia, Northern Virginia. That's probably still Arlington. Although actually at this point it might be McLean already. It might not be Arlington County. When we round this little bend and are looking across the Potomac at Virginia across the water, if you see something that looks like a house, probably actually like a mansion, on the Virginia bank, then you are definitely looking at like minimally probably a $3 or $4 million house, because that's what it costs to own a house on the river, a 10-minute drive outside of D.C. And it could be more. I can say that for something large and in good shape, $3 million is probably the starting point. Anyway, I like making this tape because I assume most people think that it's not believable that we are 15 minutes from Georgetown and lots of traffic and noise. But we are. We're just in the woods along the Potomac, going out toward the Maryland border, but not really there yet. Still in D.C. And we're getting closer to the ending of this tape. There wasn't really a lot of point to it. Ooh. Food. I don't need any, but maybe there'll be hot dogs and Cokes and bathroom. Stranger things have happened. Of course, there might just be bait. And I don't know that I really want to eat worms, but the water's sort of low. It was in the canal too. You can see this little dock area looks like it probably is full of water, but not today.